Nope. There we go. If you can't find things, make sure this is on. To post about you're not spending enough time on content. I mean, there's so much content in Vegas. It's unbelievable. However, right now we have 24 days of inventory. That's good news. That's really good news. And if you take the days of inventory and the number of sales that we have per day, and you divide the 127 into the 3020, which is the number of available listings that we have, that gives you how many days of inventory we have. And it's right between 24 and 25. We have no closings because the title companies were closed over the weekend. We did put 95 under contract and we listed 100 homes, which is really, really fantastic. And of those, hi Annetta, good to see you. Thank you for joining me this morning. Hang on, let me put you up here. Thank you, my beautiful lady, the video queen, which I'm going to talk about today. Anyway, thanks, Annette. Hang in there. We have finally crossed the line with $1 million home sales. We were teetering under 5 per day, and now we are doing 5.1 per day, $1 million home sales. So that's an incredible number. And we have, so you can't see it because I'm hiding it, 529, oh, there it is, 529 available $1 million homes. And that has continued to rise as well as more people are selling their $1 million homes. And there's a lot of $1 million home subdivisions out there, new developments where they possibly are moving. And let's jump back up to the single family homes that are 465,000 and under. We just listed 20 over the weekend of those, 72 that we listed. And we now have 612 available single family homes, 465,000 and under, which is 28%, which is huge. That's fantastic. At least it's over. It's almost, we're creeping up to maybe it becoming a third. We'll see. I hope so. We are doing 120 sales a day. That's way, way different than last year. Last year was a stellar year because the prices were $365. And of course, there was more people buying homes, whether they were investment homes or first-time home buyers. And with the low interest rates last year, almost more than 1% less than they are now. So that's the story of that. I want to just bring something on here that I want you all to use, if you will. This, if you're not using this to get listings or to convince buyers to buy real estate and not wait to buy real estate, you're missing the mark. And if you think this market's always going to be this hot, think again. It always changes. It's not going to be a crash, but there will be an adjustment. And in the meantime, you need to be putting your information out there so people can make a decision. And they might not make the decision today. It might be tomorrow. It might be next week, but you need to be top of mind with them. So this is one thing that you can use on a reel. You can use this in a story. And this is a type of information and one of the points I want to make today. I know that there's some people out there doing fantastic video. And of course, I know, Annette, you're one of them. And I'm not talking about you because you do offer information to people. But there's people out there that are actually it's all about them. And if it's all about you, you're not going to get engagement. You're not going to get people that want to see, all the things about your life. Now you have to integrate some of that because, people need to know, like, and trust you, but it also has to be some rhythm, some consistency where you give people advice about real estate, right? About real estate. And video is becoming so, so important. And if you're not doing it, the people that are doing are going to eat your lunch. And that's what's happening. You didn't come this far to only come this far. And I love this. And this is one of Jimmy Daig and I we both love this particular quote because it means so much. You've come so far in this business and it's a hard business. You wake up every morning unemployed. If you don't have at least 10 deals in the works, you're really at risk, and that's just stats that tell us that. So some of the things that you can tell people about, and let me put this here up on the screen. You all know that the NFL, oh dear, it just dropped something. I'm very clumsy if you didn't know that. So anyway, the NFL draft is coming to Vegas, and there's lane closures in front of the Bellagio. They were put into place last Wednesday to begin the construction, constructing the red carpet stage floating over the fountain at the Bellagio. Now, what a video this would be, every day, maybe not every day, maybe every other day, you could go down there and shoot, here's where we are today. And then at some point, you're going to put them all together and show people, what's going on in this wonderful city. The much talked about aspect of the draft is leading to lane closures until May the 6th. And there's some unhappy tourists about that. Well, these 3 weeks of limited lane impacts are a small give on the public's part to be able to host major events on the Las Vegas Strip. So when the draft is taking place April 28th through the 30th, the strip from Bellagio Lane to the Flamingo Road intersection will be closed to traffic. And Flamingo from the strip east to Koval Lane will also be closed. So this is information that you can give out to people. Closing portions of the Las Vegas Boulevard is nothing new. We do it many times. And our local traffic, the DOT, they're excellent at taking care of directing the traffic. And each year a large stretch of the strip is shut down to host Americans' party, better known as New Year's Eve, right? We shut it down on New Year's Eve. And hundreds and thousands of people swarm the strip every year. And they party and then cruise. Did you ever think about this? All the cruise it takes to clean up the strip, to be reopened by the first sunrise on January the 1st. That's quite something to talk about. Officials coordinate the several-hour closure each year and coordinate with the DOT to ensure those who ride the buses are still able to navigate the city. And the monorail has been one of the most useful days on New Year's Eve, since it's only public transportation mode along the strip during the road closure. And the monorail will be an important part. I bring that up, not to talk about New Year's Eve, but to compare it to what's going to happen with the NFL draft transportation plan as well. And locals can park for free at the Las Vegas Convention Center and take a discounted ride on the monorail to the draft central. Oh, and attending the draft and the draft experience is free. It's free. Amazing. All locals planning to attend the draft should take advantage of the convention and visitors authorities offer for transportation. Runners also take to the boulevard for the Rock and Roll Marathon. I've done that a couple times myself. Now, I didn't do the complete marathon. I did the half marathon one year and then the quarter marathon another year. But it's a lot of fun. And it's amazing because, I run a couple miles every day. But when you get on that strip and you're running, it's a different experience because it seems like it's never going to end. And that's the way I felt both times that I did that. Anyway, it was fun. So the closure of the strip tied to that extends into downtown, because that's the other thing. You start like at, where do we start? The MGM? No, beyond the MGM. And you come down and you go all the way downtown. And on a straight road it's daunting. So the closure of the strip extends into downtown, and yet people manage, to go about their daily lives with mild complaints on social media. And yet another event is to take place at night on the strip next year when Formula One is going to host the Las Vegas Grand Prix. So for 3 evenings in November, the strip between Spring Mountain Road and Harmon Avenue will close for up to 7 hours a night as the racers practice and qualify and compete in the race. And these drivers will hit speeds of over 212 miles per hour. Oh my goodness. Making our area residents who routinely travel over 100 miles per hour on the 215 Beltway look like Sunday drivers. I forget how many people they said go over 100 miles an hour on 215, but it's in the thousands. So, these events are allowed to take place and disrupt traffic for just the spectacle themselves. And there is lots of money involved when we bring all these events to the strip and all these people come. And the 2019 NFL draft in Nashville generated an impact into the economy of $224 million. So if NFL and area tourism officials' projections are correct, Las Vegas version will be even bigger. So hundreds of millions of dollars could be dumped into the Vegas economy over that long weekend. And you all know that these are the things that keep our state taxes low. The Formula One event is faster and expected to be even a bigger money draw, with Governor Sisolak expecting 170,000 people to travel to Las Vegas to take part in one of only 3 U.S. Formula One races. And those attendees will rack up, listen to this, 400,000 room nights over those 3 to 4 days, and ranking in over $1 billion in indirect economic impact. So we can handle the strip closing for a couple of days, and we shouldn't complain. We should actually shout about it and be happy that our city can accommodate it. And I know that the underground monorail, if you will, that Boring Inc. is building is going to help us in the future with these things. So anyway, just stuff that you can video about. You could go down and watch the progress as they build this red carpet stage for the NFL draft. Anyway, first in our city. First time we've done that in our city. So that's a video tip. That's a video tip. Here's something else. So there's a gal on Instagram that I've been following, and I just want to show you one of the videos that she does. And I want to ask you, please, you can do this. You can go and you can copy I'm going to show you the video. You can copy the words and say it in your own way. But this is what I'm talking about. This is what you need to start doing, is giving people help, giving people advice. We know this business so well that we think everybody knows it like we do. And that's not true. There's people out there that don't know where to begin. And we think that everybody knows what we know, but that's not true. So let's watch this video real quick. Hide her little ping here, and I'm going to quiet my mic. Whoops. Quiet my mic.
Box it up and get rid of those small tchotchkes on, your dresser or in your living room. The other thing that I always tell people to do is clean off their fridge. If you've got magnets, report cards, stuff like that, take that stuff down and take down all your personal pictures. So that's a good first step in decluttering your home when you're getting it ready for sale. When you're getting ready to sell your home, the first thing everyone's going to say to you is you need to declutter. But what does that even mean? So I always tell clients that when they're taking a look at each room of the house, they need to take anything that's smaller than a cantaloupe and get rid of it. Maybe not get rid of it, but put it into storage, box it up, and get rid of those small tchotchkes on, your dresser or in your living room. The other thing that I always tell people to do is clean off their fridge. If you've got magnets, report cards, stuff like that, take that stuff down and take down all your personal pictures. So that's a good first step in decluttering your home when you're getting it ready for sale. When you're getting ready.
So that was, how many seconds was that? I not that many. It wasn't even a minute. But I mean, the fact that she says if it's bigger, if it's smaller than a cantaloupe, get it off your countertops. Get the magnets off your refrigerator. And she says that in a very nice, direct, helpful way. She's not talking down to people. She's just giving, and she's from Texas. And you can follow her on Instagram, and you can, slow down and take notes of what she's saying, and then put that into your own words. And it's really a nice, tender, soft message. And I am going to continue this year to just pound you on doing video if you're not already doing it. And if you're doing it and it's all about you, that's good that you're comfortable in front of the camera, and it's good that you know how to do all those things and do it on Reels. I see people on their stories, the Reels, and on Instagram, and on TikTok too. But that means you're comfortable. But if you're comfortable, take it one more step, right? And start helping people. She's just very direct, no sales, can I sell your home in this crazy market and get you the highest price in the shortest amount of time? She's not doing that. She's helping people. And so if someone's thinking of selling their home, they might say, gee, I like this this girl. I think I would like her to sell my home, because she seems very professional. She's very laid back though, and she knows what she's talking about. So that's really an important message today. And the other message I have is some principles for business to help you. You know, you've got to show up, you've got to pay attention, and you've got to tell the truth. And don't be attached to the outcome. So Tom Ferry and his father have a mentor, and his name was Pat McVeigh. And Pat would say over and over again, what's the most important principle that you've learned that caused you to be successful? Show up, pay attention, tell the truth, and do not be attached to the outcome. So the first one is about right now. I see so many that just aren't showing up. You're just not showing up. You're not showing up to shoot a video. You're not showing up to make phone calls. You're not showing up present for the buyer. You're not prepared. You're not ready to go. You're not showing up prepared to win the listing, to do whatever it takes. Showing up prepared to win the negotiation. Showing up prepared with your spouse to let all that stuff go and just be present. And then think about it. Think about this. What's going to make the difference in your life right now? Did you just need to show up? That's 90% of success. Just being in the game, getting on the field. There's spectators in this world, and then there's people that they're watching, and you need to be on the field. You need to be playing. Are you paying attention? Paying attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to what's happening in your local marketplace. We just talked about what's going on with the NFL draft. That's good information. People might not know that they're going to close, the lanes on the strip. And they might have friends coming in because it's that time of year. It's a beautiful time of year for people to visit Vegas. Pay attention to the person that you're talking to in the moment. God gave us 2 ears, 1 mouth for a reason, and that's to be a good listener. I know questions are important, and then you listen. If your questions are really important and you listen, people are going to pay attention. And listening is your superpower. It really is. Is it telling the truth to yourself about the plays you're running and the things that you're doing? Or is it just not being attached to the outcome? Recognizing that if you do everything in your power to help a client get an offer accepted and they don't win it, don't be upset. Don't let that crush you. It's just part of the journey. And if like we talked about, I think last week, and I know Jimmy and I talk about it in class, the buyer expects easy and keys. Well, you need to manage their expectations because they're not going to get easy and keys. It's a journey, and you need to tell them what they're going to go through. You need to explain the contract and how many ways the seller can get out of that contract, how many ways they can get out of that contract, and the impact of that, and what the impact is to their earnest money. And you need to tell it in such a way that you're not scaring them. And that's a skill. That's a skill. And we can learn skills, and we can make our skills better. But that is really a skill, is to tell them the journey without scaring them, and because they need to know, like, and trust you enough to put the search for their right home in your hands. And if they don't get their right home the first time, that there's more right homes out there for them. And then, so I'm committed to it, but I'm not attached to it. So, because, you just can't control it. You're going to take them through the journey. You're going to be committed to it. But if you lose that offer, if you don't win that listing, there's things you can't control, and you need to start letting that go, because that creates fear. And we talked about, Tony Robbins talks about that. If you focus on fear, you can't change your state of mind, and you can't change your story, and you can't create good strategies. So all of these things play into each other. And does that make sense? Show up, pay attention, tell the truth, don't be attached. And which one do you need to do today? Showing up would be big. And I hope that helps. I got this from, my One of the people that I listen to is Tom Ferry. And I pretty much said exactly what he says. And that's why we like this so much. You didn't come this far to only come this far. You can always make yourself better. And one of the things, speaking of, that I'm learning from Jason Pantena is not to be so freaking shy. Subscribe, comment. If you're listening to me on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. Give me a comment. Give me a like. Hit the bell for notifications. And if you're my group, invite other people to join the group. Let's continue to make this a strong market so that those iBuyers that have captured 11% of our market don't capture anymore. And we can do this by sharing good information. If you like the things I say, please get other people to join the group, make comments, and I put some value in the group as often as I can, not quite every day, but almost every day, and for you to use. And I'm going to be trying to get more videos. I may not be here tomorrow, but I may show up if I can get done what I need to do for you. So I have an idea in mind.